Awfully hoity-toity. Look, they didn't get the red wave. How about Fetterman for president? And could it be any worse than the guy that's in there now? That was off of MSNBC. Before we move forward, I want to let you know we're not making fun of John Fetterman. What we have highlighted is the fact that he just simply should not be running for office. And now I think you look more at the good people of Pennsylvania that voted him into office. Not making fun of the dude because he had a stroke. And sometimes, frankly, we get a little hesitant. Steph and I will sit back here, and Hannah probably gets in it too, Marsh. I don't know how you feel about it, but I sometimes even hesitate to play stuff from Joe Biden. Yeah. Right, because I don't want it to make, the dude's... Exactly, and I get it. He's got a stutter, and he's 97 years old, and he's losing. The dude's got Alzheimer's or something, and I'm not making fun of that. Just saying he shouldn't be in office. To make fun of him, it would be like to take a statement like this and make fun of him.
No, I'm just saying. I just found it interesting that Biden's being Biden's being an extremist.
What?
Is it one of those things where if we don't laugh, we'll cry?
See, now, if we were to sit here and laugh at that, that would be wrong. So we're not making fun of him for that, because that's probably...
Interesting that Biden's being
Never
Biden's
mind.
being an extremist.
But I like, because he does have a little bit of that wake-up mid-Missouri mindset. The word we use for politicization.
Was it bias?
Bias. That's what we did.
Can we make
easier.
fun of the people who think that he's doing a good job?
Oh my God.
Is that a safer laugh?
I don't understand. Every time we come out with these approval ratings, I'm baffled. So who are the 28% of the people, or whatever the low number is? Who is that? And I want to meet you. I want to meet you. I want to shake your hand, because to me,
We just want to talk.
we just want.
It's some of the people who thought they were going to get their student loan debt relieved.
Boy, you should read the language from that decision, by the way, which we're
I got
going
an
to do.
email overnight
Oh, no. I haven't heard or seen that.
from the U.S. Department of Education.
They said, remember how you've been spending like crazy because you thought you were getting that debt relief? Just kidding.
Federal judge stepped in on that. That was interesting. I saw one poll, and again, how accurate it is, but it said that some of the students that were going to have their debt reduced were going to take vacations, some were going to buy clothes, some were going to buy booze, some were going to buy drugs. And
You sound surprised, Houseworth.
What do you think they did with all those stimulus checks, honestly?
But again...
What?
But
what do you think they did with Pell Grants? Hell, or scholarships?
We have to keep one thing in mind here, guys. The American taxpayer.
Yeah.
The American taxpayer. Does anyone even remember that the American taxpayer is on the hook for some of this?
Yeah.
Not anymore, we're not.
Are we teaching that anymore? Sometimes I wonder, Brandon. And forgive me for being frustrated here a little bit. Stephanie and I did not. We paid our student loans back.
Poor Hannah.
And I'm not knocking our colleague here. I get it, but
We'll set up a GoFundMe, Hannah.
I do not understand this mentality of the government coming in and paying student loans. I mean, it specifically, I can tell you, in 1989, I had a couple things I had to read, and I remember it. Number one, I had to sign a paper. Maybe you did, Stephanie. I had to say I would not smoke marijuana, take drugs. I mean, remember it said that. It said you'd lose but I had to pay it back, and it was strictly enforced. And it was expensive. And
if they found out you were smoking drugs, they took away your money?
It's what it said. And Lamar Alexander.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Now, again, I don't know how they'd prove that. But I don't understand this mentality about, the people expect the government to come in and do this.
St. Louis Mayor Tashora Jones is working on a universal income program. Hey, let's take this stimulus money and let's just give checks to people. And here's why I get frustrated, like Mr. Houseworth. When people talk about equity and equality and we start from down here and these people start up here, that's BS. And I will say this, as a drug-addicted high school dropout who got a GED and got scholarship money to pay my way through college. I come at you with both fingers going, man. Don't talk to me about equity and stuff. I grew up in a piss poor home. I had issues, had a brother. I started college, had a brother who died of a drug overdose. But you know what? I kept doing it. I got scholarship money from a GED test because I wasn't a high school dropout. I just didn't go back one day.
Exactly. But you had a tough time, and
but I did it.
You pulled yourself up by the bootstraps.
Or somebody like Stephanie Bell who went to school for 12 and a half years. Mm-hmm. You do it. You just do it, no matter what your circumstances are. Hannah, what did your text notification say?
Well, it was a long email. It was a statement on the decision that came out yesterday, I guess. I sent it to you guys if you guys want to read it. But it basically said, we're disappointed in the decision that was made, but we're going to keep trying, is kind of the gist I got from the email.
Wait, so we're going to keep trying? Was that from, like, the White House?
It came from the U.S. Department of Education. It sounds like the statement was from the Biden-Harris administration at the top is what it says.
And I would think that decision of that federal judge could be appealed. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that's over. Maybe, and perhaps it could go to a higher court, but and there is something to be fair about this for people like Hannah and others that were expecting it, and it was announced it was going. You were probably counting on it. I was a little taken aback that now that the judge would make that decision, but I guess this could go up to a higher court, Stephanie. I don't know.
Yeah, it will. I suspect.
Here's the thing. I did not expect anybody else to pay off my student loan debt, and once it was propositioned, I guess that could be happening. I'm not going to lie. I got excited.
Sure.
I mean, I think anyone in my position would get excited. I understand why people are upset. If I wasn't benefiting from it, I would be very upset. But now that it's maybe not going to happen, it feels like the carrot was dangled in front of my nose, and it's really disappointing. I'm not going to lie.
That was my first thought.
fair.
I want to read some of this judge's decision because...
Could we not have gotten this decision on, like, last Friday? How many people walked into that ballot box and was like, you know what? I'm really excited about the $10,000.
Thank you to the Democrats. I'm going to vote for you.
It's just like I feel worse before I ever found out my loans were going to be potentially forgiven.
Did you feel a little sad
It is sad.
when you opened up that text alert, that email from the feds?
It's like I got my hopes up.
Read some more of it.
Come on, man. So it says, we are disappointed in the decision of the Texas court to block loan relief moving forward. Amidst efforts to block our debt relief program, we are not standing down. The Department of Justice has appealed today's decision on our behalf, and we will continue to keep borrowers informed about our efforts to deliver targeted relief.
Man.
Despite this decision, we will never stop fighting for the millions of hardworking students and borrowers across the country. Hey, if you were really hardworking, you could pay those loans back yourself.
Yeah. Or thank a veteran today on Veterans Day for helping to facilitate that. By the way, talk to somebody who went in the military, went to school on the GI Bill, by the way. Talk to
very hard.
You're going to refund me my 4 years in the service. And you know the other thing I love about all of this is we've covered this story in our own personal experience. Steph has a giant fake check from our friends at Whip Print Shop, $10,000 in Hannah's story. I think it's lovely. The sweetest kid here on the show is the one who gets more hate mail than anybody else.
And that doesn't
at
that's not right.
9390.
Man,
not
anytime I mentioned that I was a little excited to get the debt relief, I get eviscerated on the texter.
And that's a shame because I totally understand where Hannah's coming from. And the cost has gone up significantly since I was in college. I get that. The only other thing I'd point out, Brandon, the one thing that did benefit me or people in my age range, and to his credit, President Clinton did sign a bill that allowed, and I only was able to claim it 1 year, but it was able to, a tax deduction for, I believe it was the interests on the college loan that I had to pay back. But it was definitely enforced, and I had 10 years to pay it back. I think I ended up paying it in 8. But I do remember that. But for the other years, I wasn't able to claim that. But he did sign that after he took office. But it took like 3 years for it to take effect. So that did help me. That definitely helped.
I haven't even had to start making payments on my loans because it keeps getting pushed back because of the COVID stuff.
First thing I thought when there's another ruling against this, that's what I keep thinking of, is the roller coaster ride and dangling the carrot, and then the carrot's moved, and then you're on the downhill slope of the jet stream, and then you're on the uphill. And, like, wouldn't somebody in the administration had to have known the real-life effects? They didn't think this was just going to go through easy peasy. They knew it was going to get challenges, and then they knew it was going to jack with kids' lives, like poor producer Hannah, the producer, this morning, sitting there going, what's going on? They had to have known the pain and agony that they're going to cause people, because they had to have known that this was not going to be an easy thing.
I mean, I wasn't planning any crazy vacations or anything, but, you know, the fiance and I were talking about our plans to hopefully purchase a home in the next 2 years.
It's a strategy, though. I mean, people will. That they're going to go into court and say people have already applied. They're already relying on it. I mean, people do that all the time, and so I think they raced to try to get as much of it in as they could, because they're going to argue that in court.
Would you think that goes to the U.S. Supreme Court at some point? Is that I would almost think it's that big, or you don't?
I don't know that it's going to make it all the way up there.
Yeah, maybe the Court of Appeals. It's got to go higher up than that, because they'll definitely appeal that.
Marsh, I want to get your opinion on this. Sounds like a scorching ruling by the judge, my opinion, but I'll get yours and Steph's opinion on this real quick. Judge said the court's role is not to decide what constitutes good public policy, but to decide if Biden's plan is too large of a decision to make without congressional authority. In this country, we are not ruled by an all-powerful executive with a pen and a phone. Instead, we are ruled by a constitution. Does that sound a little scorching to you, Marsh?
That's true. And I think, interestingly, it's taken us, a while to get here. But the ruling from the judge yesterday is exactly on the point that Nancy Pelosi said originally, and said Joe Biden can't do student loan relief. That's too much delegation. And I think so. It's that. And there was a memo, an internal memo that said, hey, it would be unconstitutional to use the executive to give student loan, and we said, when Biden did this, we said, hey, this is unconstitutional. Even your own party said that. And here we are, months later, and we're like, hey, remember that stuff we said a long time ago? Yeah, we're serious about it.
The email also said that over 26 million people have applied for the relief, and that more than 16 million applications have already been approved, and they're sitting with the loan providers waiting for the court to approve everything, essentially.
So 26 million people frustrated and PO'd this morning because
they don't get their vacation.
Coming up, we're going to be doing your daily DC
I'm going to continue to fight for veterans. I hope that I can get past the True Choice for Veterans bill that will allow veterans that service-connected disability to actually get TRICARE and TRICARE for life and not be forced into the VA medical system.
That's Republican Congressman from Florida, Greg Steube, talking about an idea for a new way of handling health care for veterans here on Veterans Day. Before we get into the daily D.C. rundown, wanted to mention Arizona's Senate race still not official. One, I think it was Politico, has declared the winner to be the Democrat, Mark Kelly, still not official. Nevada Senate race, here's where we are right now. Adam Laxalt still with the lead. He is the Republican. One of those seats still out there. This could be a big deal. He's leading basically 49 to 48%. 90% of the votes are in that gubernatorial race. It's one with Kari Lake, Katie Hobbs. It's basically in favor of Hobbs right now, 50 to 49%. And only Friday, 3 days after the election, only 82% of the votes are. Why does that take so long?
I have no idea.
That's crazy.
It's terrible. I do know we've got folks, lawyers from Missouri on the ground in Nevada helping watching election integrity stuff, and I'm hopeful. And I've been getting live updates. I really hope that we're going to get that Nevada Senate seat.
And we've got Stephanie Bell on the ground here with today's daily DC Rundown.
And no one gets sassier and more fired up than President Trump. I mean, honestly, and but this is like, it's going to get nasty. So he put out something on his social media platform because he's still not back on Twitter. And he called Ron DeSantis, again, Ron DeSanctimonious, which is like the worst name ever. And he called him an average Republican governor and basically said, well, the only reason like he did COVID okay was because it was hot in Florida and you had sunshine and all of that. And he said, people would have gone to Florida no matter what. No matter who the governor was, because it was hot and Florida is a nice place to be. And so basically just like dogging on DeSantis. And then he basically took credit for DeSantis's original win, said, hey, I came in, I endorsed him, then I had all these rallies. Then when they were going to steal the election, I sent in the feds to do some investigating, and it's all due to me. And so it was really nasty. Of course, he has a big announcement coming up next Tuesday. Other people who are and notable Republicans across the nation have been criticizing Trump. Winsome Sears, who won big in Virginia and actually was part of Trump's 2020, yesterday said it's time to move on. But other people are popping up, including Gavin Newsom, to also be in contrast to Ron DeSantis. It's interesting.
DeSantis and Trump have a lot in common. The one big difference they have is Ron DeSantis won his last election.
Ouch.
Coming up, a huge Trump policy fan here, by the way. Don't be mad. Coming up, meeting a local World War II hero on Veterans Day.
When you kill a deer, you got to hang it upside down, right? Tree branch, right? A tree, usually. My dad used to do it from the swing set. We thought it was a new accessory when we first saw that then. Dad got us a Bambi swing. I think he put it up wrong.
That's comedian Tim Young. We're gearing up for deer season. Bow season's already been in progress. As a matter of fact, we were chatting with Randy Tobler yesterday. He hosts the Tobler Show weekdays, 4 o'clock here at the station, and we actually spoke with him yesterday from his deer stand, getting ready for big hunting this weekend. And as far as I know, John, no, I am not a hunter, but I here's what I love about hunting season: the passion. These people for hunting, it's not just a ritual, the passion they have for it. I mean, anytime you've got to take the urine of an animal and rub it on your body, that's passion.
Or you have to pee in a bag.
By the way, Google...
Tobler told us he has a plastic bag with activated charcoal.
He gave way too much information yesterday.
Gross.
John, you bow hunt. You ever used anything like that? An apple cut in two. I'm almost afraid to ask, but I'm going to ask. Do you keep the apple and the deer urine in the same pocket?
It's something.
It's but I know a lot of folks are incredibly excited, and I don't think immediately. I think there's some counties, but as far as I'm aware, I know Sheraton, Camden County, there are a few other counties where you are going to have to. Testing is required for hunters in 34 out of 38 counties in the CWD management zone. I'm trying to think.
Chronic wasting disease, right?
Yeah, chronic wasting disease. Best I could tell, the counties that are around us, it would be like Camden and Sheridan. There might be. Man, and we know that Stephanie's not a big fan of hunting.
Is there a stupider animal on the planet than a deer?
Wait,
Oh,
let me clarify. She's not a big. I shouldn't say she's not a big fan of hunting. She's not a big fan of deer.
I don't know if we've ever gotten more hate on this show than when Stephanie said that last year.
Is there a stupider animal on the planet than a deer? I love you hunters or whatever, but deer are so stupid. I mean, is it really that much of an accomplishment when you shoot something that's that stupid that will literally run right into the side of a car?
People were mad.
Yeah, they were. And I don't know what they get madder about. You taking... Right. Brought to you by Extreme Body Paint. People get... It's like whenever we talk about Hannah getting student loan forgiveness money. The hate mail, we get it, 874-93. That's what it was like last year when Stephanie made those statements. Well,
Not sorry. If you get one and you want to, bring in some deer sausage, I'd be all about that.
874-9390. 874-9390. Stephanie Bell, producer Hannah, John Marsh, Brian Houseworth. My name is Branden Rathert. Phone number is 874-9390. We are stoked for you getting ready to go hunting today. But seriously, I do love, the passion from these people that hunt. And
so we just got done with youth deer season, and I think that's really been exciting. A lot of passing down the traditions and seeing my kids' friends at Southern Boone with their dads or their grandpas or their moms out hunting and getting their first deer. That's been really heartwarming.
Yeah, I love it. And I also love the fact today, of course, is Veterans Day. Emily Spain on KOMU Channel 8. She does something called MVP. It's pretty cool. She just gets stories from people that live right here where we live in mid-Missouri. And one of the folks she recently talked to, the guy's name, is Howell Wheaton. And back in 1943, so it was a little over a year. It was January of 1943, a little over a year after Pearl Harbor had been attacked by the Japanese. This 19-year-old kid by the name of Howell says, you know what? I'm going to go fight for my fellow mid-Missourians. I want to protect my Americans. And so this 19-year-old kid back in 1943 goes and signs up to be in the military. And he talked about some of the things he did. He had a lot of different responsibilities. One of the big things he did, this guy, this 19-year-old kid from Missouri, he would go, like he was in charge of going behind enemy lines and putting up communications cables so that so that our side could chat and talk about what's going on. And he, in talking to Emily Spain, had particularly one fond memory.
We'd been attacked by the Japanese. It was just thing we did. We were actually boarding ship for the invasion. And thank goodness for that Missourian named Harry Truman. My company was expected to have 90% casualties when Harry dropped the bomb.
Man, guy's 99 years old, works on an Angus farm just outside of Columbia, been farming for a whole lot of years. Roughly, according to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, there's about U.S. World War II veterans. Less than 170,000 World War II veterans left. And that's why I love whenever we do our Central Missouri Honor Flight, and they just had their final flight recently, final flight for the year. This is a great program. If you ever hear somebody talking about this, or you are a veteran, doesn't matter if you served in wartime, peacetime, doesn't matter what your job was in the military, it's Central Missouri Honor Flight, and it's to honor anybody who's been in the military. You didn't have to go and win medals and go and fight in Vietnam or Korea or Iraq. It's just, we're honoring you because you signed up to protect Stephanie and Hannah and Marsh.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite days of the year when we have that show and getting to hear everyone's stories. And of course, my dad has been on the honor flight. And, one of the best things is just reconnecting with other veterans. And I know a lot of them, I know my dad was telling me he's off to a Veterans Day breakfast this morning. And I know he always enjoys today because, it's a chance to connect with folks he doesn't get to see every day and tell stories.
Yeah, it's pretty. And one of the things that we have learned, and as a matter of fact, this Howell Wheaton said the same thing in the story yesterday with Emily Spain, or his daughter was saying, he goes to some of these events, and even World War II, because I know the thing with Vietnam, like people don't like to talk about their time in Vietnam, but when we go on these honor flights, you get all these people that have the same experiences. Now they're talking about things that haven't happened in some 50, 55 years because there's not a whole lot of other people for them to share because they don't have the shared experience.
Yeah.
But this Mr. Wheaton's daughter was saying, he goes and starts taking part in some of these things, and even from World War II, he started to talk about things that he'd never talked about before. It's a Feel Good Friday. What are you feeling good about? What are you grateful for today? You can let us know, 874-9390. And we are also wearing red today, something we've been doing for a while.
Yeah, we're wearing red to remember everyone deployed.
And we mentioned that not to brag. We say, hey, man, if you want to wear red today, especially on Veterans Day, how cool would that be for you to get out and wear red? We get everybody here in mid-Missouri doing it. 874-9390, 874-9390 is the phone number. And that's somebody else locally. I think of people like State Representative Dave Griffith, who has done a lot for veterans. I think of all the veterans we have serving in the legislature. Chuck Basie, for example. Hal Dooley, things he has done over the years for veterans. I think it's just remarkable. And as it is a Feel Good Friday, I think coming up 8:35, we are going to pick winners and losers of the week. So if you have somebody that you would like to we pick, please let us know. Get those to us, 874-9390, 874-9390. And I loved hearing that old segment from Stephanie Bell talking about hunting last year. And it made me realize, we've got a lot of really good stuff from over like just the past year or so as I'm going through all those clips. And
now
boy.
I'm nervous.
We should do some of these throughout the morning because we said we're going to try to do something special on a Feel Good Friday. Burned out on election stuff and wanted to move on to something different. There's something from Hannah. It's only called...
Oh, no.
Thing. I think a lot of it is BS. I think like the toilet paper companies, they're in cahoots. They get together every morning. How can we sell more toilet paper? I know. Let's tell everybody there's going to be a shortage.
And then their inventory gets wiped out.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good, Hannah.
Okay, that wasn't stupid.
That was pretty good. A lot of A lot of moments like that from, and that's one of the things. Producer Hannah is one of the things she's very, very good at is those puns. She's really, really good with the puns.
Not even a dad.
Not even a dad. Rick, welcome into Wake Up Mid-Missouri. What's on your mind this morning?
Good morning. I just wanted to have a little quick comment about the hunting. The reason why so many men go out and go hunting once a year?
How come?
After being cooped up with their girlfriends and wives, they got to go out and kill something.
Oh, God. All right, right on, brother. What are you feeling good about on a Feel Good Friday?
Well, I tell you what,
You guys got nothing for us, or his phone crapped out, or he was done. Because when a guy's done, you're done. Coming up a few minutes from now, maybe some
Kevin. He said that your McConnell impression sounds like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. And I can kind of see that one.
Cornholio, Nicaragua. McConnell. I don't know what Graham's doing. Cornholio.
Legislation is cool.
All right, just some fun moments from the show here on Wake Up Mid-Missouri over the past year or so, and I think it's still worth picking out John Marsh for winner of the week at 8:35 for his great. And I don't know if he was doing Butthead there or Beavis. Either way, great impersonation, bud. So we're just trying to do something different. We know the election this week still three, really short of the Georgia re-election, the runoff, the rundown, whatever you want to call it, coming up less than a month from now, December the 6th. Two races out there, Nevada and Arizona. No official winner in those races yet. In the Nevada race, the Republican has a very slight lead, I think, with 90% of the vote counted. In Arizona, the Republican there is trailing by maybe a point. I think 82% of the polls are in. And then any new word on the Arizona gubernatorial race?
Carrie Lake's faring better than the Senate candidate, and so I think everyone's still really hopeful.
So we're down. Republicans are down by about a point there. Welcome into the show. This is Wake Up Mid-Missouri. We are glad that you could be here. Coming up, if you get a chance, Google this and then join us. Make sure you're here at 7:10. And here's what I want you to Google. The Little John Lady J.
Oh, my gosh.
What?
Did you Google it yet, John? The Little John Lady J female adapter. What is the Little John Lady J female adapter? That's coming up 7:10 this morning. Here on Wake Up Mid-Missouri, Veterans Day, lots of events happening. I know there's a big 5K in Centralia tomorrow, and if you're aware of some Labor Day events that are happening, please feel free to call us real quick. Let us know, because we want to let the rest of the folks here in Mid-Missouri know. With Top Gun, if we're looking for any kind of military type movie, would Top Gun count?
Hey, Mavericks. Yeah. You hear about ice? What's that? You want another one? Really? Yeah. I feel the need for speed. Ow!
In retrospect, incredibly corny. But back in 1986, Marsh.
It's corny.
Remember all of us dudes, we were in our teens, and we would high-five each other in our parachute pants. I feel the need for speed. And we all thought we were Tom Cruise.
Chris says the lines all the time. The kids will be like, Dad, Dad, Dad. And he's like, talk to me, Goose. Like, all the time, still.
When I was a zip line guide in Idaho, I was a ski guide in the summers. I was a zip line guide. And you had various hands, because you're shipping people 1,500 feet across a canyon or on the side of a mountain, and you had hand signals, and we had radios and all this stuff. And if you wanted to send somebody and you weren't ready to receive the next zipper, we would say...
The next zipper.
If you were ready to receive the next zipper, you'd say, ready. And if you weren't, we would say, negative, Ghost Rider, pattern's full. Quoting Top Gun that. Still. Another American Sniper, Bradley Cooper, good Veterans Day movie.
It's a great movie.
What would you pick? See, and I still go back to, if I were to watch a Veterans Day movie this weekend, Full Metal Jacket, I think it's good. Back in my day. What would you pick, Hannah?
I mean, it's a much older type of veteran, I guess we'd be talking about, but The Patriot is a good movie.
With Mel Gibson. That movie?
Yeah.
I guess that would count, wouldn't it, John? Yeah. That's interesting. That's a movie that takes place. Is that
That's the Revolutionary War.
Revolutionary War. Got Mel Gibson, Heath Ledger, too?
I think so.
All right. Steph, anything for Veterans Day?
It would be Top Gun.
Top Gun? Marsh? Oh, man. Yeah, you're going way back, man. I like it. If you have some suggestions, you can let us know, 874-9390. Before we move forward, I do want to let you know, right now we're at 34 degrees. This time yesterday morning, We were about 66, some record highs over the past couple of days. High mark yesterday, Sanborn Field, kind of the official measuring station for Mizzou. Not the National Weather Service, but for Mizzou. High yesterday, 76. Right now, it's 34 degrees.
Yesterday was officially the last day of summer, apparently. We've been doing summer for like the last, 2 weeks?
Yeah, who's rocking a stuffy nose this morning with me because of it?
Yes.
Coming up, we are doing the holiday wish. So I know it's been kind of difficult to think about Christmas and the holidays. You can't listen to Christmas music when it's 80 degrees outside.
Right?
Well, we're there now. It's 36. Holiday wish is here. We are teaming up with Hibbett Sports, Love Columbia, and Common Ground in Jefferson City to help Mid-Missouri have a happier holiday season. If you know somebody who could use just, a little bit of help from their neighbors here, let us know. Let us know what's going on, and then let us know how we can help. Your wish can be for you. Be for somebody else, maybe an organization, just somebody you think, yeah, they could use a little help. Go to our websites, 939theeagle.com or KWOS.com. Look for Holiday Wish, and you can submit your wish. It's really easy to do. Okay, if you get a chance, get on the Google, search Little John, Lady J, female adapter. What is it? We're going to be covering that coming up at 8:10 here on a Feel Good Friday with Wake Up Mid-Missouri. SNBC got all kinds of excited. Fetterman barely won in Pennsylvania. Maybe next he could be president. That really happened this week. Winners and losers of the week coming up at 8:35. If you have some nominees, please let us know. You can text those to us, 874-9390, as we get ready for Veterans Day is today, Veterans Day weekend. Veterans Day event. I want to thank Dawn sending us a Veterans Day event in Randolph County. Randolph County Pachyderm Club is doing something. They're dedicating a new American flag and flagpole. They are doing that today. Feel Good Friday, 10 o'clock this morning. Howard Hills Athletic Complex. It's on US 24 there in Moberly. We appreciate that. If you know of something that's happening, 874-9390, 874-9390. Couple of big things, and then we'll get to the Feel Good Friday. So the Senate race, runoff election, Georgia, December 6th. 2 races we are still watching. The Arizona and Nevada Senate race, still no winners there. The Dem leads in Arizona. Republicans slight lead in Nevada. Arizona gubernatorial race, still nothing there. I think Kari Lake is trailing by about a point right now. And
we were watching the Missouri Senate race yesterday because the Missouri Senate did their leadership elections. There was a potential challenge to Senator Rowden from right here in Mid-Mo, and he is, but I guess that did not come to fruition, and so Rowden was reelected to be the Senate Pro Tem, essentially, and then Senator O'Laughlin, who's from, Kirksville area.
Shelbina.
Yeah.
So what is the benefit for us when we have, because it's something we've covered before, when we have somebody like our local senator, Caleb Rowden, in high leadership positions in Jefferson City? What's the benefit to somebody listening?
Benefit to somebody, and I would have to put O'Laughlin in there too for our listening area because she's from Shelbina, but her district includes Moberly, so she's got a big chunk of our listening area. I can't remember the last time we've had 2 leaders right here in this area. I mean, she's just 1 county away, although she represents, I believe it's 18 counties. To me, it's about priorities. It's about the fact that you basically Mid-Missouri has a seat at the table. There'll be issues. I mean, she is more conservative than Senator Rowden is on some social issues, really big on CRT and some things like that, and he's a staunch conservative as well. One of his things that he says we have to focus on is Wooldridge. They got to figure out a way to get a path forward for that, so that'll be something we'll see. But really, it's about getting a seat at the table, and it's also about in terms of the budget and in terms of priorities for Columbia, and if there's something she needs in her district, basically they'll be able to bring home the bacon for their district. I think it's really, I mean, it's the old Robert Byrd, West Virginia thing, because you have more clout when you're pro tem and you have more clout when you're majority leader.
Yeah, I think priorities for sure. And then also like committee picks. I mean, that's a big deal. So setting the priorities. I actually got nervous 2 days ago when I saw the House leadership because there really isn't anybody from Mid-Missouri in the House leadership. And as someone from Mid-Mo, it made me think, we got to get someone in there.
Well, and I go back in the election earlier this week, Marsh, with us losing 2 solidly conservative, what had been conservative seats in the 50th district and in the 47th district. I feel like maybe, at least on the Republican side, Mid-Missouri has lost some clout. Do you think this makes any difference for us in the session that starts 2 months from now? Okay. I wanted to highlight, too, I don't know if you remember, maybe a month ago, we had, is it Maisie Boyd? Mazzie Boyd?
Maybe.
She was on our show, Maisie Boyd, and she's from, like, Northwest Missouri, and we had, even though she's out of district.
Oh, yeah.
We
had
had
her on.
She's 24 years old. She won her race.
Yes.
And by the way, won bigly. Huge. I don't know what the final result was, but I remember going, wow, that's huge. Big result.
Of course, that's a very, very Republican area. It used to be very Democrat. That was basically Bob Griffin's old district, very, very much in there. Yeah, exactly. To Brandon's point about Mid-Missouri, Brandon's on to something about Mid-Missouri. John, you and I are going to disagree on this just a little bit here because you're right. The Republicans still have control, but Mid-Missouri has lost some clout, and it's lost clout because of 3 things. Number 1, they lose Chuck Basie. When I say Mid-Missouri, I'm specifically talking about Republicans. Basie chaired the House Education Committee. Huge. He was term limited out. Sarah Walsh was a key committee chairwoman and at one time was going to run for Congress, decided not to. Losing her on the Republican side from Ashland is huge. And you lose Travis Fitzwater for Republicans, but he moves over to the Senate. Schulte comes in and takes that place, and he obviously has very very well respected, but he's not going to be a committee chair. So you've got Ed Lewis, you've got Tim Taylor over in Speed, but all of them are, and of course you've got Bernskatter and Rudy in Jefferson City. But in terms of north of the river, the Republicans definitely have lost some clout, none bigger than Chuck Basie, who chaired the Education Committee, because he played a huge role. And it looks to me like the new leadership is going in a little bit different direction by choosing Mike Henderson as the Speaker Pro Tem. It almost looks like Scott Fawn said maybe they're not going to be pushing as much on the CRT.
And still no word on who our Attorney General is going to be. Still no pick on that. A lot of folks campaigning for Stephanie Bell. I am not one of those folks campaigning for Stephanie Bell, because I like right where she is, and I'm being kind of selfish there. And then I'm worried she becomes the Attorney General, and in Missouri, after you become Attorney General for a couple of years, you have to run for the Senate, and you don't even have to finish your current term or anything.
I think all of our hope, I think everyone is hoping, many lawyers across the state are hoping that we find someone who really wants to be the Attorney General and is there for a while.
That's right.
And Lieutenant Governor Kehoe.
No, and John, you're absolutely right. For sure, south of the river, and to John's point, too, the Senate, mid-Missouri has a lot of power. When you talk about Rowden, you've got O'Laughlin, who represents Moberly and Shelbina. You got Fitzwater, and don't forget, like you said, Bernskatter. But for sure, Brandon and I think are thinking specifically Boone County. Boone County, the Republicans, because of the redistricting, and let's also remember Mann and Plank ran pretty good races. The Democrats did better than a lot of people expected with those legislative seats. So the Republicans have lost some clout, at least here in Boone County, legislative-wise.
Does the defense rest?
Defense rests.
All right, because I want to talk about this Little John Lady J female adapter.
Oh,
Google this real quick.
on.
But first, the other big things happening today. It is a lot colder today. Record highs over the past couple of days. Sanborn topped out, I think, at 78 yesterday. Right now, it is 33. And our temps really over the next couple of days, 39 today, 35 tomorrow. Is the colder the better for deer hunting? I don't know. Yes, okay.
Plus the cross-country event going on today, they're going to be very, very cold, because a lot of them were thinking it was going to be 80 degrees.
Yeah, and a lot of them were wrong, because it's only going to be 39. Sunday, 42. All the bridges are up this morning. Big hit for the Biden administration. Late last night, Texas judge ruling against the Biden administration on something that they've really been putting up on that pedestal recently.
Yep. So a federal judge strikes down Biden's student debt relief program. And if you recall, Missouri and some other attorney generals had, Hannah, we do feel bad for you this morning, but this is turning my week right around. I feel much better today than I did on Wednesday morning. Some Missouri, the Missouri Attorney General, other Attorney Generals had sued. They'd put a pause on the program, but they hadn't fully, ruled on the merits. This is on the merits, saying we're striking this down. Of course, the Biden administration says they're going to appeal, but they said, it's an unconstitutional delegation of legislative power. Essentially, the executive doesn't have the power to do this. It's within Congress's scope of power, and Hannah got a really. Got an email overnight. I don't know what I would call that email. A political email, I think.
Yeah.
They're like, we're trying for you.
We're trying, man.
Yeah. That mean Texas judge did us dirty.
I like the last line. We'll keep trying. Don't you worry.
Man. Biden reacted.
I just found it interesting that Biden's being
Sorry, that was actually the wrong cut. This is the one where
Smooth move, JJ.
We're supposed to be playing this one.
Mega Republicans who took hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars in pandemic relief loans, had their loans forgiven, are trying to block this relief.
Well, that's not accurate, Joe. way different things.
It's just, I mean, it is ridiculous. I mean, there are certain people out there like Hannah who could benefit from student loans, but Hannah also has a good job and a long, successful career ahead of her to where she would be able to pay them off. But the people that this is benefiting are people who are in my position who just chose not to pay. I mean, I have friends who drive luxury cars, who have been to many, many vacations, many foreign countries, and they're still carrying the student loan debt because it's at a low percentage. Yeah. And these are the people that are getting the $10,000.
You know, it just occurred to me, Hannah drives a newer car than I do, by the way.
I think me too.
Huh.
It's a 2012. It's not new.
It's newer than my car.
I don't know what year my car is.
Is Hannah's car newer than yours? So Stephanie drives a 2008. Mine's a 2006. What year is yours, John? So the college kid getting all this, she drives the newest car, this whole bunch.
You know what my car payment is on that thing every month?
What?
$47.
You know, when I was paying back my student loans, the mechanic told me at some point your car is just going to start on fire on the side of 63. And you know what? One day it basically did. And you know how I traded it in? I actually had to donate it because they wouldn't give me any money for the car.
I totaled my car that I had previously a couple of years ago. So,
but
that's
these
the only
are the
reason
sacrifices. These are the sacrifices that people like me, people like Brian Houseworth, had to pay back our student loans by making tough choices. And everyone else, there are life lessons in that. And it's a good life lesson, and we should not hand out free money. And I already paid mine back, and I don't want to pay for yours, Hannah. So I am celebrating today.
You gonna get, if you do get it, are you going to get a new car so you're not driving a 2013 car? It's kind of old.
No.
You're not going to take that student loan money?
You don't. You don't just get.
Can you sign a piece of paper that says that, please?
You don't just get a check in the mail.
You might. Well, now that it's post-election, you may not.
It's not like you're paying, and it's not like you're paying anyway because you haven't paid for, 2.5 years? It's still on pause because of COVID when the president has said COVID is over.
I mean, I graduated almost a year ago, and I haven't had to.
Everybody gets 1 year of hiatus, right? And then the payments are supposed to kick in.
Did you see the text from Blake?
Uh-oh.
I
think it's directed at me.
I can't get it. Someone read it out loud.
What is that? No, we can't read it out loud. What does that even mean, Blake?
Marsh, is this making you laugh too? Wow.
Yikes.
I don't think it loses the true meaning if we paraphrase.
You know what we need to do? It needs to be a text Brian Houseworth reads.
No.
Can you imagine Houseworth saying,
Blake, what does that even mean? I don't understand.
Blake says, Brandon, Hannah treats you like a little... What's hot with... Oh, by the way, so we got, a new job suggestion.
We're sharing some solid life advice from the National Park Service.
Good morning, 7:25-ish, which means it's
7:27.
time for What's Hot with Hannah.
A couple weeks ago, the National Park Service shared some really solid life advice on their Facebook page. And can you guess what life advice the National Park Service might be sharing with us?
Get out and explore.
Close.
Only you can prevent forest fires. Was that them?
So they have had to issue a statement, essentially, a warning, if you will. Because people are apparently licking frogs.
Ew.
Yes.
Did you see this?
Yes, I did.
So there is a certain type of frog, particularly, that people are licking, and it's making them really sick. It is I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong, the Sonoran desert toad.
No, you got it right, yeah.
Or the Colorado river toad, as it's often called. It's one of the largest toads found in North America, and apparently people are licking them.
So there's certain breeds of frogs and toads. Apparently, you lick the back of them, and you apparently get really high.
The Facebook post says, as we say with most things you come across in a national park, whether it be a banana slug, unfamiliar mushroom, or a large toad with glowing eyes in the dead of night, please refrain from licking.
I don't understand.
That's some solid life advice. Like, if you don't know what something is,
Don't lick the foreign objects. But do research the Little John Lady J female adapter.
do not.
No, it's cool, man. It's pertinent for hunting season.
Did Brandon just now figure out what this was? This has been around for a long time, I feel.
I've never heard of it. A listener turned us on to it yesterday after we had Tobler on. Tobler was on. He was on the show from a deer stand yesterday, and he was peeing off the deer stand, actually, while he was on. And he said there's devices and stuff, and apparently there's a device for women a listener turned us on to.
It's like a funnel.
Yeah.
It looks like a cup that a dude would wear.
Or like a watering can or something.
It looks like an oxygen mask,
But
actually.
my question is, but then you have to clean it, right? So then you use this device. But then
you clean it like at least once a year.
Where do you put it? You put it like back in your purse or in your car? I mean, then
maybe
there's
you
pee
just
on it.
carry a water bottle with you to give it a little rinse and then clean it better when you get home.
I don't know.
And who's the first person that sees a frog on the ground and go, I wonder what happens if I lick that frog's rear end? Who was the first person that ever did that? That's what's hot with Hannah today. Don't lick the toads 5 minutes from now. What is the Little John Lady J female adapter?
I got a 30-06 with a 12-power scope and a bullet that'll travel 2,200 feet per second. When that deer looked up to lick the salt sucker I'd hung from the danged old tree, caught him right above the eye. Like, yeah, well, I hit one with a van. Going 55 miles an hour with the headlights on and the horn blowing. Woo, that's an elusive little creature. If you ever miss one, it's because the bullet's moving too fast. Slow the bullet down to 55 miles an hour and put some headlights and a little horn on it. The deer will actually jump in front of the bullet.
True.
Ron White. And then Stephanie Bell's take.
Is there a stupider animal on the planet than a deer? I love you hunters or whatever, but deer are so stupid. I mean, is it really that much of an accomplishment when you shoot something that's that stupid that will literally run right into the side of a car? I don't know.
We've never gotten more hate over something said on the show than Stephanie's comment right there.
John, it's always the girls that generate the most hate mail, whether it's Stephanie talking about how dumb deer are. I know, right? or Hannah talking about student loan for forgiveness. Crazy. And by the way, so while we were doing that, because we wanted to find that was a great moment in the show here on Wake Up Mid-Missouri last year, Stephanie just going off on hunting. We didn't know she had it in her. But while we were doing that, we found some other great moments in the show that we're like, man, we gotta go back and remember some of that stuff. And they weren't always funny. Some of them was just attitude.
But yesterday, Pat and Emily and a couple others had our back in the comments. Pat have actually just started replying a troll emoji to all of his comments.
This guy takes it from troll to goblin or ogre or something.
It's obvious he wants to be in studio on Wake Up Mid-Missouri. He wants to be. But the one point...
A lot of people do.
The one point that I think is worth...
Who we were talking, there's some lawmaker who's trolling us on text and Facebook. Who was that?
State Representative Michael Burton.
Yes. Naming names this morning.
And by the way, he listens to the show. He's been complimentary this week.
Well,
really?
I
mean, to us, although he did. What did he say yesterday? He said we shouldn't be joking about the elephant earrings or whatever we were talking about. But no, he definitely
did. He comment on the?
He told us to have a nice day yesterday.
Yes, he did. And I've met him, and he also I've interviewed him a few times. He said some very positive things about Representative Henderson and also Representative Patterson. But yes, he definitely. It's very obvious he wants to be on the show.
Yeah, he's not always nice. He's usually trolling us. He wanted really badly to come on the show. We've had out-of-district lawmakers on the show from time to time, but I don't know what he wanted to talk about. He just trolls us. He hates everything we talk about, and we say, well, thanks for listening.
His strategy, I guess, was just to comment a bunch of talking points, essentially, in the comments on our Facebook Live video stream, and hope that we argued with him on something is kind of what the strategy seemed to be.
Yeah, and one of the things, and I hope he's listening this morning because I do want him to hear what I'm about to say.
Hold up, everybody. Turn up your radio. Brian Houseworth is about to go off.
Let me adjust my headphones.
It'll be positive. No, but he definitely wants us to cover, and it's very obvious he feels very passionate about it. He wants us to cover and report on the fact that MoDOT has been underfunded. And he wants us to cover the fact that there's safety issues. But as I've said before, and I'll say it again, we have covered that. In fact, I was the only reporter that I'm aware of that covered the recent MoDOT safety conference. It was there 2 days. And we've reported on extensively that Missouri ranks 50th in the nation in safety.
That was the same safety conference where the guy fell off the bridge on the day of the conference.
Actually, while I was there at the conference, yes, absolutely. But no, I know he wants that covered, but we have covered that. So just to let him know, we have definitely covered those issues, and we'll continue to do those. But that's his big issue, and then he feels like that bigger priorities should be focused on what he wants to talk about down in Jeff City.
I would invite Michael Bolton. Is that his name?
Representative Michael Burton.
Oh, Burton.
Yeah.
I thought it was Michael Bolton.
No, and he's from Lake. He's from the town he's from is Lakeshire, which is a very it's a small municipality in South St. Louis County, not far from where you grew up.
I would invite Mr. Burton to come to Mid-Missouri, and I think MoDOT funding looks good here because 63 looks nice, man. It's been repaved and painted. We look good here on funding. By the way, Michael Bolton, one of the meanest people I've ever met.
The singer?
Yeah. Wow. No, Michael Bolton, the brain surgeon, Brian. Yeah, he was doing a concert. No line. Then I
You went to a Michael Bolton concert?
No, I introduced him on stage when I was doing Top 40
Humble
radio.
brag.
No, the guy,
That's awesome.
he was playing a parking lot at a casino in northern Nevada.
That sounds sketchy.
Yeah, things weren't looking so good for Michael Bolton back in 2004. He was playing a parking lot in Nevada, in northern Idaho, in the summer, in August. And he was just mean. That they wanted us to get up on stage and make some announcements 15 minutes before he was supposed to take the stage, and then afterwards we had some listeners that we were taking backstage to meet him, and he wouldn't talk to people. They said no words, no talking to Michael Bolton. I'm like, who the are you? And somebody tried talking to him, and it was like a little girl, and she was probably sick or something, and she tries to talk to him, and he puts his finger up to his mouth like, shh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's disappointing.
It's rude.
Michael Bolton, the brain surgeon. Welcome into the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went
Not far from Afton, but yeah.
Playing casino parking lots in northern Nevada to state lawmaker outside of St. Louis. We got some other great moments from the show. We are going to be celebrating 8:35 winners and losers of the week. Randy Toller hosts a really, really good show. It's on afternoons, 4 to 6 here on the radio station. He joined us yesterday, and he was in his deer stand, and he sent video of the deer that he was, because he's bow hunting. Mm-hmm. And so he sent us this video, and he comes on the show, and we talked about the election for Tuesday. And we started, and I don't know how we got, because Randy, a mature gentleman, I'm thinking, you're in the deer stand. I don't know how this works. He doesn't hunt. I don't hunt. But I would think, do you get, when you have that maturity level, like Randy Tobler does, do you, and I'm being serious, like, do you get down off the deer stand to pee, or do you stand up on the deer stand? Because, little boys like to pee off bridges and decks and anything that has height to it. And he was telling us about some kind of device.
It was he was saying he had a plastic bag with activated charcoal, and you pee in the bag because if you were to pee around, then the deer smell your pee and then you don't get them.
See, I remember riding Greyhound bus from St. Louis to Cape Girardeau when I was going to school at Southeast Missouri State.
Wow.
Oh.
Don't sit in the back. You would see people on the Greyhound bus with bags of urine, man.
Gross.
Oh, good Lord.
So
I thought those had a bathroom on them.
Yeah, but not everybody cares. They just, like, you'd go and you'd be going and sitting down, and it looks like a bag of Mountain Dew or something. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sitting here. It was urine. These people on the Greyhound buses. So we got to wonder what women do, and somebody turned us on to something called Houseworth. You ever heard of this? It's called the Little John Lady J female adapter.
I have not heard that.
Yeah. Well, you can get one at Bass Pro Shops.
So I've also, I don't know if I can say this. I've also heard this called a Hy-Vee. I'm serious. I think it's maybe a different brand for the same product, but yeah.
Can you do us a favor if you're a female hunter? Because we always hear about dude hunters. Seriously, if you're a female hunter, it'd be great to hear from you. Like, how, I'm being serious, just curious how all that works. But apparently, I guess when the women go hunting up in the tree stand, they take this Little John Lady J female adapter that you can get at Bass Pro Shops.
Or a Hy-Vee.
I like the Hy-Vee name a little bit better, actually.
Go figure.
It's a portable, unbreakable plastic urinary director.
Yuck.
This is important stuff, man. Deer's... I don't know. Okay, boy. Urinary director designed for women offers a solution to restroom facilities that are either unsanitary, poorly maintained, or just plain unsaleable.
But that one's like a funnel, right? So it's just like you would have to clean it. See, I saw people during COVID who didn't want to go into public restrooms, and they're called Travel Johns and Travel Janes, and they actually have a bag at the end. So not only does it have like the funnel part, but it had like you can dispose of it in a bag, which I think is what Dr. Tobler was talking about.
Well, to me, as I'm looking at a picture, it looks like a face mask.
Oh,
it looks like
no.
There's a tube that goes there for the oxygen, but I guess it's not on your face where it goes. The Lady J with its director spout, or the Hy-Vee with its director spout, lets you get relief while standing by putting it into place. The adapter is also ideal for women in the late stages of pregnancy.
What?
Hunting or pregnancy.
I was pregnant a lot. I'd never had
You
one
never
of those.
used the Lady J female adapter?
I've never been pregnant, but why? Why pregnant women? What?
Or just lazy people. I almost want one. I don't want to have to get up and go to the restroom and unzip, and I just use
But
the
you
Hy-Vee.
have the equipment that it's trying to emulate. What are you talking about?
And all the booze the night before.
Life lessons from John Marsh, just like the National, what was that? Forest Service who was giving us life lessons?
Oh, National Park Service.
There we go.
National Park Service this morning warning people, don't lick frogs.
Or anything else that you don't know what it is.
If you don't know what it is, don't put it into your mouth.
So we got a text from listener Nathan at 874-9390, and he said, I say let them lick the toads. No better way to let Darwin sort out the week.
Tom, via text, you have to lick from the head towards the tail end.
Oh, ooh.
You don't start at the tail. Otherwise, you get sick. Frog licking advice. Another text. Oh, God.
This segment is turning into a catastrophe.
All right, let's move forward. Coming up. More.
Hey, I went to a really cool event last night, actually, and I met a Wake Up Columbia listener.
Oh, a Wake Up Columbia listener?
Or sorry, Wake Up in Missouri.
We can't save this. Just go to break.
Okay.
This is Wake Up Mid-Missouri with Branden Rathert.
If I go and say, well, progressives are unintelligent, ignorant, dense, brainless, mindless, foolish, dull-witted, slow-witted, witless, dunce-like, simple-minded, empty-headed, vacuous, vapid, half-witted, idiotic, moronic, imbecilic, obtuse, naive, dim, dumb, dopey, short-sighted, dozy, crazy, cretinous, bird-brained, pea-brained, slow on the uptake, soft in the head, brain-dead, bone-headed, lame-brained, thick-headed, chuckle-headed, silly, scatterbrained, crack-brained, nonsensical, senseless, irresponsible, unthinking, ill-advised, ill-considered, inept, unwise, unjudicious, asinine, pointless, meaningless, futile people that I've ever known.
We got a text message from Brandon at 874-9390, and he said that was Eminem, right?
We're highlighting some of our more fun moments over the past several months here this morning on Wake Up Mid-Missouri because we get it has been election and political heavy this week. So this morning here on Wake Up Mid-Missouri, we have turned our attention to the Little John Lady J female adapter, also known as a
She-Wee.
She-Wee. The firestorm. So apparently
the texter's blowing up.
Because it's hunting season, and if you're a female hunter, seriously, would love to hear from you how this works. But when you're
or
in the
a tailgater, apparently.
Oh my gosh, the tailgate text.
It's versatile.
Yeah, Jack says at our Kansas City tailgate, all of the ladies have a She-Wee. They were 3D printed by a member of our group. They can pee in the grass just like the guys. So yeah, if you have a 3D printer, here's a business idea for you.
And then who's flipping out about the show, Hannah?
We don't have their name saved, so I apologize.
John says, "What GD station am I listening to this morning?" LOL. Like I hit the seek button to Larry and the Looney Crew.
I like Chuck the truck driver. He said, "I could have towed you." Talking about this subject would go off the rails.
We got another text, and I'm a little offended that somebody would text us this blasphemy. It says, I get in my car and the radio comes on. I'm hearing conversation about licking toads and something called a She-Wee. And I'm thinking the Eagle Morning Crew moved over to KCMQ.
They wish.
I'm offended. I am offended.
But these are important things. I mean, control of the Senate. Control of the Senate is pretty important, too. By the way, outside of the runoff election, December 6th in Georgia, 2 races. We are still waiting on Senate races. Arizona and Nevada. Right now, the Republican leads by a point in Nevada. About 90% of the vote counted there. Arizona, latest, Stephanie was checking out this morning. About 80% turned in there. Republican trails. And
they have a giant chalkboard and they're doing the tallies. That's how they're counting, I think, because they're moving at a snail's pace. It's horrible.
Hopefully they'll know before somebody's sworn in on January the 20th.
It's bad. They need some reforms there for sure.
And then Carrie Lake in the gubernatorial race in Arizona, she's trailing by about a point. And we've also discovered that there's different models of She-Wees in the Lady J female adapter.
Well, yeah, they come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, there's Travel Johns online, and they have different capacities. They're different colors. Some come with wipes and Anyway, there's lots of different models. They have a chart of the comparison, like when you're buying vacuum cleaners or anything else, and they're like, this one has this and this and this.
Does Consumer Reports, they come out with a report every year on the She-Wees? And how much does one cost? Now,
about $20. What's the Bass Pro one cost?
You say it's just a piece of plastic. You wouldn't think it'd be that expensive.
The ones online come with the bag, though, like a disposable bag. Oh, $10.
$10.
Bass Pro. We should have known.
For the Little John, Lady J female adapter.
Well, and some of the ones that come with the bag even have a gel in the bottom that absorbs
That's
all
what
the
Dr.
liquid.
Tobler was talking about, I think, right?
Okay, let's move on.
Yes, please.
Coming up, hey, we've been celebrating Veterans Day all day long. Hy-Vee's been, as a matter of fact, we got a text. Somebody did the vets breakfast at Hy-Vee. Says, wow. As a matter of fact, coming up a little bit after 8 o'clock, Hal Dulle hosts Saturday morning show on KWOS. He is going to be joining us to talk about the Hy-Vee vets for breakfast.
Hear about ice? What's that? You want another one? Really? Yeah. I feel the need for speed.
That was the mid-'80s, man. We thought that kind of stuff was cool. Top Gun, Top Gun starring Tom Cruise. Looking at suggestions for movies for Veterans Day. Today is Veterans Day, and everybody here, Wake Up Mid-Missouri, appreciates you for serving, and we're thinking of some of our local folks. We'll miss names. State Rep Chuck Basie, who served Dave Griffith, who has done some incredible work over the years for veterans. There's a whole slew of them. Can't name all of them, but we're appreciative of all of them. So just trying to collect a few movie titles if you want to watch a military-themed movie today.
Yeah, Travis says G.I. Jane or Lone Survivor. Tom says Stripes.
Stripes! Oh, my gosh, John, that's a good call.
Richard says 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. That's one I haven't watched yet, but it's on my list. Don says Band of Brothers. Earl says Saving Private Ryan. And Michael suggests We Were Soldiers. Ben says Pearl Harbor. Those are all good. So if we're going to have to put out this list on socials or something. That's a lot of good ones.
That is kind of cool. Just saying, these are movies that kind of have a military veteran theme. Hannah, I think, also kind of found kind of a unique movie. Was it The Patriot? Mel Gibson and Heath Ledger in that movie. 874-9390, 874-9390. As a matter of fact, coming up here in just a few minutes, we are going to be chatting with Hal Dooley. He is also, over the years, he has done a lot of work for veterans, hosts a morning show Saturday mornings on KWOS. Mr. Houseworth is here, too. I'm Brandon, Steph, producer Hannah, John Marsh. Military, Veteran Day kind of movie. What would you put on the list?
The list Stephanie went through and you went through is really good, Brandon. They're all good. Uncommon Valor would be another one that I would probably have to throw in there. Gene Hackman was in that movie. Very good movie. They're all good. And then any of the John Wayne movies.
Stripes, are there some other, I'm trying to think, other military-like comedies? That's because Stripes, I thought Stripes is a great one. I was trying to think, and offhand. Yeah, I remember. It didn't have one of the Wayans brothers in it too, maybe.
Some people considered MASH to be, in terms of television shows, some people considered MASH to be a comedy. At times it was, but at times it was very serious. And I do remember there was an episode in MASH, Brandon. And for young people, I don't think they'll really understand the last episode they did. The ratings
watched
were
it, yeah, beyond Super Bowl rating.
It'll never happen again. But Harry Morgan does a scene. I don't know if you remember it, but he was doing a scene, and all of his buddies that were with him at the end of World War I, I think there were 5 of them, they had wine. And the last one that was alive was going to take the wine. I remember him sharing that with his buddies. It was very, very powerful. Alan Alda almost cried on the set. It was really powerful.
Yeah, it was an amazing final episode of MASH. The other big thing obviously happening this weekend, so bow season. That's been going on. But for real, starts tomorrow. And, Down Periscope. Joe, thank you. Down Periscope. Kelsey Grammer. That's the movie you're thinking of, Marsh. Kelly's War is another movie. We Were Soldiers, another Mel Gibson movie in Vietnam. I dig Brant's sense of humor. Caddyshack? I don't know if it's a veteran movie, but it's a good movie nonetheless. Larry the Cable Guy. James says that's military. Military comedy. Kyle. Miracle at St. Anna. I love it. Great suggestions. Good Morning Vietnam was a comedy to some degree, says Shelley. If you've got something, 874-9390. Other big thing happening this weekend. All right, hunting. And we've been talking about something called the Lady J female adapter. Little John Lady J female adapter. And we found another opera. And this is for women, like when they go hunting or just don't want to go into a restroom. It's a thing.
I thought we were moving past this.
So did I, but texters won't let us.
It's like a travel, John. We heard from Dr. Tobler that you cannot just go in the woods because the deer don't like that. So you had asked, what do the women hunters do? And so now we've got something for women.
We've got
you can
something
get it
for
at
women.
Bass Pro.
And some interesting suggestions on the text and people that are actually using one of these things. Hal Dooley, host Saturday Morning Show, KWOS, doing a big event for veterans today. Hal, welcome into Wake Up Mid-Missouri. What are you doing?
Thank you, Brandon. Well, I'm sitting here with a bunch of veterans. As a matter of fact, before the day's over, Hy-Vee will probably serve over 1,000 breakfasts here. This is probably their 12th year of doing it. It's a big turnout. A lot of people. I haven't been able to eat yet, and I've been here for 30 minutes. The line's that long. But anyway, got a lot of great veterans here, and they're really enjoying it. And I haven't been able to get a word edgewise, but a lot going on in Jeff City this morning.
Before we let you go, we can't brag enough on the amount of work that you do today and the amount of work that you have done over the years for veterans. And I know you're a veteran. We've had some great conversations about this. To you, the biggest thing about being a veteran, like in your heart, what's in your heart when you think about being a veteran, Hal?
Pride. A lot of pride. You know, for service rendered, for what we did, and what all these guys have done to protect our country. You know, we talk about freedom, we talk about democracy and all that kind of stuff. We wouldn't have any of those things to talk about if these guys here, guys and gals, hadn't served our country and been the firewall to protect our liberty.
All right, Hal, we appreciate you. What you got on your show tomorrow morning?
All right, I got a cowboy rider by the name of Post Don. And we got a litany of guys. We're going to talk a little bit more about the housing problems in Jefferson City. You guys have talked about that in recent weeks. And try to get to the bottom of it and try to get the understanding that we really need housing just like Columbia. You know, if you don't get the housing, you don't get the people. You don't get the people, you don't get the workers. You don't get the workers, you don't get the business. You don't get the business, you don't get the tax money. So you know how that works.
Yes.
Hal Dooley, we appreciate you.
Sir.
Hal Dooley, live from the Veterans Breakfast being put on by Hy-Vee. Appreciate Hy-Vee doing that. Appreciate what Hal has done. So these Hy-Vee things, people go hunting this weekend. One of our listeners says, we've thought about investing in a Hy-Vee because we have an 8-year-old daughter who is notorious for waiting until we have passed the last gas station on our way home to rural Missouri before mentioning she has to pee right now. She's not especially proficient in the pop a squat position yet. The thought of having to clean it has been our hang-up. Yeah, Stephanie Bell is suggesting if you get one of these Pee-wees or one of these Lady John, Lady J female adapters, Stephanie is suggesting you wash it at least once a year. Minimum. All right. So the election, Senate control of the Senate still up for grabs. You've got the December 6th runoff election in Georgia, but there's two. Maybe we'll have a decision today. Senate race in Nevada, Senate race in Arizona. There's a lead for the Republican in Nevada, lead for the Democrat in Arizona, and that's what we're waiting on today. By the way, some folks also interested in that Kerry Lake gubernatorial race in Arizona right now. She is trailing, but only like 82% of the votes are tabulated from what we know at this point. More election fallout. There's a dude on, the people all about love and unity, MSNBC. Guy's apologizing. His name is Kurt Bardella. He said Lauren Boebert said, well, if she loses, and I think that race is still not decided.
She was in the lead the last time I checked. She was in the lead. It's very, very narrow. I mean, it was, I believe, 1,000 votes. Very close.
So this dude on the TV says, well, it might be she could go and work at OnlyFans. And I don't know. I'm not all up to date on the OnlyFans. Hannah and Steph know what OnlyFans.
What?
You guys are the ones who educated me on what OnlyFans is.
It's making a lot of people really rich.
It is. Okay, so if a creator is on OnlyFans, you can pay a few bucks a month to see their premium content. A lot of folks use it for like racy images and things like that, adult content. But other creators just use it for like exclusive content you can't get for free.
Okay.
But usually when you hear OnlyFans, you kind of have that sexual connotation attached to it.
Because we're human. And it's not it's just how we think.
But Boebert is in the lead right now.
And she's hot, too. She could be on OnlyFans.
Oh, come on. Come on.
I think Kurt Bardella's onto something here.
She's going to win. She's in the lead. She's going to be a congressperson. She doesn't need to sell her body. But if she wanted to do that, she should have the freedom to do it.
John, what did you say first? Just herself.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, and again, just to make, so 99% of the votes in, so this has changed very little since when I checked about 3 hours ago, because it's getting a lot of attention. The Democrat is Adam Frisch. She is beating him ballpark by, it's about 1,200 votes. 1% left, so that's a lot of ground that he'd have to make up there. But the Democrats put a lot of effort to get her out. They wanted her out.
So this guy could maybe be a winner or a loser of the week at 8:35. If you have suggestions, please text those to us, 874-9390. So he did apologize. He says, I'll be more thought. So I guess to say, well, the idea that she would, and to Hannah's point, it's not necessarily a sexual thing, but you can just get on there and do whatever kind of pictures you want, and people will pay you for it. People are saying, well, if she wanted to do that, that's not necessarily sexualizing her or anybody else that would get on to the OnlyFans and do that. But she is pretty hot. I mean, you can see it, right?
I'm shaking my head.
Didn't you call her? Is it wrong to judge? I know we shouldn't be judging anybody based on their looks, but we do, but just not out loud. Weren't you the one that called her a thirsty trap last year? Because you were asking me, don't you know what a thirsty is?
You're so uncool.
You guys were the ones that first pointed out
I
the
said
fact that
Christy Nome posted a thirst trap. She was like on a Harley. She was wearing cutoffs, and she's hot.
she could be on OnlyFans too.
No.
No?
No. Quit suggesting that. These people they don't need OnlyFans. They can do whatever they want.
But the money's easier on OnlyFans. There's a volleyball player for LSU who's making like $2 million, and people are upset. And they're like, well, name, image, likeness. There's her name and her image on OnlyFans. She's making the school there's nothing they can do to stop her from doing that. All right, coming up, Feel Good Friday, winners and losers of the week. 8:35, we'll do that. I apologize for basing politicians on their looks. Also, coming up, we're going to do the morning.
That doesn't sound very sincere, honestly.
No, it does not.
We had bad news yesterday about the stock market. We've got good news today.
You know what would be in poor taste? Is to judge the looks of Missouri state lawmakers.
Don't even go there.
All right. Coming up, Morning Bell, business news. Business news. A little twist only Stephanie Bell can give us. What do you got, Steph?
Yeah, we got some good news about the stock market, and we got some reports about inflation.
All right, we're doing that. 8:35. Good morning. 8:26, time for the Morning Bell Business News. Got a little twist in there only Stephanie Bell can give you.
We are off the rails this morning.
And I'm loving it, man. I hope you, seriously, we hope you're enjoing this. We hope you're having a good time. It was just after the week, the election and the heavy political stuff. The train got off the rails a little bit, and I hope that you're hanging out with us as we judge politicians based on their looks and talk about devices to help you pee when you're in the tree stand.
Don't forget licking toads. So yesterday we had some bad news about the stock market. It had really taken a turn for the worse, but it's bouncing back based on a whole lot of factors. But we also got some inflation numbers in, and inflation is slowing. I think we're in the 7s rather than the 8s. I don't have the exact percentages, but so they're like, hey, it's not as bad as we thought. And it is signaling that, maybe we're going to get some relief. And I think, a lot of us were disappointed Tuesday. We'd hoped that maybe a red wave would really signal to everybody that, maybe we could turn the economy around. I don't think we got there. And I think initially the markets, took a downturn, but they really are doing better today. So if you wanted to look up your 401k, shouldn't have done it like 2 days ago. But today you might actually want to do it. So those are good news. And then I think the other big business item today is obviously, we haven't talked about it, but, obviously we've talked about Elon Musk a ton and taking over Twitter. And he's fired a whole bunch of people, but Meta also announced a lot of layoffs. I think like 13% of their workforce earlier this week. So big tech is just shedding people like crazy.
And Elon's going to lay off some folks too there at the Twitter?
He already did. He's cleaning house. In fact, I think now he's asking some people to come back. Like, actually, we do need people to work here. So I think that also has impacted the market on, how these big companies are reacting to not only the election, but inflation and the economy right now. And I think everyone's a little bit on edge. But today, at least, stock market's up.
So it's a little bit of something to maybe smile about here on a Feel Good Friday. One of the things that, from my experience, that makes me smile is helping other folks and trying to do things for other people. And I know especially around the holidays, like we all want to do it because it feels good. And we're doing it. We're giving you an opportunity to help with our holiday wish from 93.9 The Eagle and 104.5 News Radio 950 KWOS. Go to the websites, 939theeagle.com, KWOS.com, and our friends at Hibbett Sports, Love Columbia, and Common Ground in Jefferson City are going to help folks have a better holiday season. If you know somebody that could use some help, maybe it's you, especially somebody that, like, they put others before them. Like, they spend all their time helping other people, and maybe they need some help. That's who we want to help. Go to the website. You look for a holiday wish, and you can submit your wish. It's really easy to do. You just click a button and type up stuff we need to know, and then maybe that person benefit from something. By the way, another great movie. I want to thank listener Chris for this one. We were talking about movies to watch for Veterans Day today. We were asking specifically comedies, Stripes, Tropic Thunder.
Oh, okay.
Incredibly politically incorrect with Robert Downey Jr.'s character. Woo! Great. Love it. Tropic Thunder. Chris, we appreciate that. 5 minutes from now, winners and losers of the week.
When you kill a deer, you got to hang it upside down, right? Tree branch, right? A tree, usually. My dad used to do it from the swing set. We thought it was a new accessory when we first saw that then. Dad got us a Bambi swing. I think he put it up wrong.
Super excited. It's been hunting. It's been the Ben Bow season. As a matter of fact, if you get a chance to chat with Tobler today, listen into his show 4 to 6. He might be headed out with his rifle tomorrow. Welcome into the show. Wake Up Mid-Missouri Feel Good Friday. 874-9390 if you want to drop in some winners and losers of the week that we're getting ready to do here in a few minutes. I also want to mention, man, some really great movie suggestions. If you're looking for some kind of military-themed movie this weekend. And there's some really good suggestions that I forgot about. Jim suggests Apocalypse Now.
Tom says Stripes.
Stripes, I love that one. Goldie Hawn. Mark, I forgot about Goldie Hawn in the movie Private Benjamin.
Yeah, 1980.
Early 80s. A lot of good ones on here this morning. 874-9390. 874-9390.
And now for nominees for the winners and losers of the week.
All right, winners and losers of the week. We do it every Feel Good Friday, 8:35. The more localer, the more better it is, because we like to highlight local folks that have been doing well. Winners and losers. Who do you have, Steph?
I have some local folks. I went to an event last night sponsored by the Missouri Women's Business Center. Full disclosure, I'm on their board, but they're doing some great work with Central Missouri Community Action, and they help if you're a small business owner and you're a woman or a man, you can call them. They have lots of resources to help you. But they had an event called The Women Who Own It, and they serve an 8-county region, I believe is correct, and they highlighted one woman entrepreneur from each county in their area, and each woman got on stage and told their story, and it was I was in tears a couple of times, and I was motivated just hearing all of the cool things local women are doing in business, and I was like, well, I already have a couple businesses, but I kind of want to get another one. Like, I was so inspired by their stories. And I also, one of the awardees, husband Kyle, came up to me and said, I love tuning in every morning, and so that was really fun. And then Aaron from Cat Country, one of our sister stations, also emceed the event. So it was a beautiful celebration. I was really excited. And then I also saw Dr. Ashley Immel, who's on Wake Up Mid-Missouri frequently. She got recognized along with True North, I think, as most impactful, Impact Como, most impactful board member. Saw a post on her Facebook page. So congratulations to her and all of her work with True North.
Yeah, they do incredible work. Several folks there, her president, Wendy Wiederhold, those folks, what they do and what they do at True North is incredible. Mr. Houseworth, winners, losers?
Got two. Don't know losers this week, but I do have two winners to at least nominate. Number one, the Centralia Avenue of Flags will be going on this weekend. Tim Grenke did post that on our Wake Up Mid-Missouri page today, and he points out 658 American flags will fly this weekend, and the registration starts tomorrow at 8. So definitely want to nominate them. And then I have to nominate the Columbia police officers that have been doing so much behind the scenes that I won't elaborate on trying to catch this prowler. This is a very big deal. We talked about it yesterday on our news. Be very alert, whether you're a young female or anyone, be very alert. Make sure that you are keeping your lights on and stay safe. But I know Columbia police are doing quite a bit that you may not hear about in the news, and you shouldn't hear about in the news. There's a reason for that, because we don't want the suspect to know everything. I just know that I can hear some of their activity and know that it's going on, and they're trying to catch the guy, and hopefully they will.
And they've released some video, and they're not saying, hey, this video, we're not saying it's necessarily related to this Como prowler, whatever we want to call him, but there's videos, some guys, and you can find it. It's easy video to find.
They put it out actually on their own Facebook page, and that I had someone who works here, an intern, that showed that video to me yesterday morning. I was keeping it off the record. That it's too grainy to really tell who they are.
And it's people running around the building. There's some video of the cops going around this building, and then this alleged Como prowler, and then apparently this camera, whatever the video was, even caught some audio, and I guess they're trying to figure out what they're saying. And very, very poor, but I figured I'd play because it sounds almost like whoever, as they're running around by the air conditioning unit, almost sounds like they're singing like Ozzy Osbourne or Metallica songs or something.
The biggest thing that came out of that, and we knew it, and you can tell from the video, police are now, in some cases, behind these apartments. Obviously, the suspect's going to know it, but they had to put that video up because they were trying to look for a clue. It could be included, but they need somebody to come forward, at least identify who those two people are.
All right. One of my losers of the week, and I'm only playing this because it'll probably be the last time we ever get to play this.
An inspiration for all to see. Show me Missouri, show me. True.
I love this song.
The magic dragon lived by.
It's Trudy Bush Valentine.
It's the remix version.
It's the remix version. I fixed it.
In a land called Honolulu.
Was that song ever? Was it Puff the Magic Dragon? Was that about like doing heroin or something?
To me, it was not about drugs. It was not. I don't think so.
We thought there's just GTS.
I don't think it was. I think it was more of a, I think it was more of a children's song.
Oh. Well, one or the other. I don't remember. I thought it was about drugs or kids.
I mean, there's a lot of things like that. Willy Wonka, it's like, is this for kids or is this for people on drugs?
SpongeBob SquarePants, I would put into that category. Marsh. Marsh, winners, losers? Yeah, absolutely. And I love that kind of stuff because I'm a big fan of whether it's people here on the show or wherever, friends. I'm a big fan, man. You will always know that I will have your back, all right? And I would like to think that you've got mine. But I thought that was cool because Jay Ashcroft, in my opinion, the way I see it, it's kind of like Jay Ashcroft had Steve Korsmeyer's back on this. Yeah, heck. And let's meet at my office here, by the way, because my coffee's better here at the Secretary of State's office than it is at the Cole County Clerk's office.
Yeah, listener Sean has nominated the federal judge in Texas
as
the winner of the week. I'm sure Hannah has picked him as a loser of the week. But I also feel bad for this guy because all the articles are like, a Texas judge, a Texas judge, a Texas judge. And you're like, this is like the pinnacle of my career, and they won't even say my name. It's Mark Pittman, in case you're wondering. I had to dig down deep to find this guy, but Texas Judge Mark Pittman, who has put the Biden student loan forgiveness program to pasture for the time being.
That judge, winner of the week. Biden reacting to that late night ruling last night.
Biden's being a cop.
Sorry, that's the wrong audio. Sorry. I did not mean to do that.
Mega Republicans who took hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars in pandemic relief loans, had their loans forgiven.
Yeah, different things there, Joe. I don't know if KJP or Mrs. Kamala Harris explained it to you all right and stuff, but two different things.
I will also nominate all of our clerks and poll workers and everyone, locally here, Breonna Lennon. Missouri had a really smooth election day thanks to the hard work of a lot of people behind the scenes. And, you see these other states like Nevada and Arizona who can't count. And I'm proud to live in Missouri, and I'm thankful for it's a long day.
A special shout out to the poll worker that Brandon berated.
Oh, gosh, yeah. By the way, so here's what happened the other day. I went for the past 2 months, Steph and I have been saying, hey, make sure your photo ID is up to date. Make sure you know the polling place you're going to. There have been some changes because of redistricting. Guess who went to the wrong polling place the other day? Yeah, this guy. And then lied to a poll worker because I was so embarrassed at not having looked at my my polling info. Been going in the same place for 7 years. And
I hope they're listening right now.
And I wonder, too, did I break a law by, in effect, lying to an election worker that day by saying, because I told her, I said, this polling location is on my sample ballot. And I was lying because it was not on my sample ballot. Is that like a federal offense to lie to an election worker?
I think there is something about lying. It's not a federal offense. It would be a state. But you should not lie to the election workers.
Listen, I apologize for lying. My pride got in the way. I was embarrassed. And, whenever you get embarrassed, sometimes their pride acts up, and my defense was to lie, and so I apologize.
Shame on you. I like this nomination from Jim Z. He said his winners are John Martin, Connie Leopard, all of the Republican candidates who took the time to run for office in Boone County, even though unsuccessful. And he said the losers obviously are the Republicans who didn't show up to the polls, the people who are registered and who didn't vote.
That just blows me away. Jason Gibson, Shimon Jones, Dustin Stanton, Connie Leopard, John Martin.
They worked hard.
Yeah, Jim Musgraves, and I feel like there's another on a county level that I'm forgetting.
I have another winner of the week here locally. Boone County Joint Communications posted on their Facebook page yesterday that they had a dispatcher join what they call the Stork Club. So dispatcher Michael was able to assist over the phone with delivering a baby yesterday. I guess a kid called 911 for their mom who was in labor, and at some point the call got disconnected, so he was able to call back, walk the mom through what to do, and delivered the baby while they were on the phone.
That reminds me, Salter Lawn Service. Somebody from Salter Lawn Service, I don't know the exact details, but it happened there was a house on fire or something, and this employee from Salter and Stacy Salter, I hope I'm getting this right, but something, they ran over to a house, and nobody saw that this house was burning, and I think it was in Ashland, actually, and some employees from Salter went and at least alerted the people. Marsh, you got anything? Winners, losers? Did you get through all of yours? Yay, so a whole bunch of folks there for winners and losers. We do it every Feel Good Friday, 8:35. Coming up, we've got leftovers, things we did. I thought we got to everything today. Listen, we talked about the hotness of some of lawmakers and the Little John Lady J female adapter. I don't know that there's much left over, but whatever it is, we're going to cover that 5 minutes from now. And then, of course, it is the Gary Nolan Show here on 93.9 The Eagle and 104.5 News Radio 950 KWOS. I got
Here's a big old serving of leftovers. Enjoy.
Things we didn't get to during the show today, we ran out of time, so we're going to open up the refrigerator. You know, sometimes when you're at your house and you've got leftovers, you open up the fridge, and sometimes like, oh, look, I found some cake. Or other times like, I found some eggs from Waffle House from a couple days ago in the fridge and leftovers. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Stephanie hopefully has some sirloin leftovers in her fridge. What you got?
This article in the Wall Street Journal really has me puzzled, but I guess colleges are offering admission to students without even applying. Do you want to go somewhere who's like begging? It seems desperate.
Does strike me as an odd concept. Like, hey, we're just going to completely unsolicited send you a letter saying, congratulations, we know nothing about you, you know nothing about us, but let's put a ring on it. Come to college here, kiddo.
Yeah, that sounds like they're just desperate for your money. And like part of getting into like a good college is something, you know, like it's selective, right? And I know I was just back at Truman State University and their enrollment numbers are way down from when I went there, but they're, you know, keeping their standards high. But I can understand, you know, wanting to get enrollment back up. But what we're learning is a lot of people are doing okay without college. A lot of people are doing good with 2-year degrees. A lot of people are doing great with trade schools. And colleges are going to have to, and they just keep jacking up their prices, Mizzou included. And so people are thinking about alternatives. And this kind of makes me laugh because colleges are like, hey, you want to come here? They're, you know, free. And they're offering scholarships too. And it's like, can you imagine? It's just weird.
It does. It is very weird. My leftovers fridge has this story. This was following the Houston Astros World Series victory parade. And again, this is one of those things, and I hate to do, can you imagine if it were the other way around? But a true story, this absolutely applies here. Ted Cruz riding in the victory parade with the Houston Astros, and some moron throws a beer can at him. Now, you know, if that was a Democrat lawmaker, and it was, you know, that you may have not even heard about this story because Ted Cruz is a Republican. That's why. But so the guy, so he apologized, and apparently he threw a can of White Claw at Ted Cruz. Maybe you've seen the video, and he says, "I'm an idiot." Astros fan arrested for throwing White Claw at Ted Cruz. Is he an idiot for drinking the White Claw? Because that's not a dude's drink, is it? Isn't White Claw something girls drinks, John? Isn't? Yeah, I don't know White Claw, but I thought that was kind of like a women's drink.
Yeah, hard seltzers. I mean, I think probably, yeah. If you were, it'd be a red flag for me.
And so if you were going on a first date, back in the day before you're married, obviously, and a dude, and you all sit down and you have a nice date, and the dude asks, yeah, can I get a can of White Claw, please?
Yeah.
You're going to go, strike number one.
Right. It would go on the ick list.
And why do we have drinks that are associated with women and drinks that are associated with men? I don't understand that. Aren't drinks like binary?
I mean,
whatever. I don't know what the heck phrase I'm looking for, but you know what I mean, John? Soy boys.
Oh, gosh. I think, well, another leftover here, Caleb Browden was elected to serve as president pro tem of the Missouri Senate. Really good for mid-Missouri. Glad to see him retain that leadership spot. Hopefully, they also elected Senator O'Laughlin, who does, as Brian pointed out, covers areas like Moberly, as next in line, basically. What is her official position? I'm going to get that wrong. No, she would be majority floor leader. So Rowden was moved up from majority floor leader up to pro tem. Anyway, two kind of mid-mo leadership in the Missouri Senate. It's been a rocky place for at least a year, possibly, really two. And I'm hoping with the two of them at the helm, maybe we can see some togetherness in the Senate going forward.
Unity.
There we go.
Derek suggests, by the way, we've been taking suggestions on great military movies, veterans movies. We've had comedies like Stripes, and we've had Saving Private Ryan. Derek says Kelly's War. I like that. James, like amaretto sours. Is that kind of a female drink? Or
men can drink amaretto sours.
Men can. All right. Guess what? My dad's favorite show is coming up